Ooh, Rafaela brought us in with some really great music. Thank you. And good afternoon and welcome to Dr. Khanna's Returning Youth, where we are returning youth and young adults back to a productive life after incarceration. Please visit returningyouth.com and donate today. That's returningyouth.com. We are live on the radio to over 30 million homes on WPAT 930 AM every Friday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're streaming live on Facebook at facebook.com/returningyouth. Or, of course, YouTube, and just search Returning Youth. Dr. Khanna is an attorney, a child safety advocate, and a servant of the underserved, and a champion of the nonprofit Voice of the Kids. Dr. Khanna launched his post-incarceration Juvenile Justice Reformation Act initiative, also known as the Returning Youth Initiative. And Dr. Khanna saw that the Reformation Act did not adequately care for ex-offenders once they were released from prison, and he decided that he would address this with his Returning Youth Initiative by providing post-incarcerated young adults and youth with housing, training, along with the required medical and psychological assistance needed to secure a job, build their careers, and greatly improve their lives. I'm your host, Angelica Robinson. Please welcome my co-host, Rafael Alvarez. And
Hello.
we've got Sharon Miller, part of our Returning Youth team, who does all the work behind the scenes, our producer extraordinaire. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Hello, how are you, Angelica?
I'm good. How are you guys today?
Wonderful.
Well, we're doing great. I guess you are in the beautiful city of Los Angeles. I'm in New York City. And Sharon, you are in?
I'm actually in Oakland today.
Oakland.
Still in
Beautiful.
California, but I'm tuning in from Oakland today.
Oh, fantastic. I love Oakland. Yeah, I like to used to see baseball games there, but fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. So today we want to do something a little bit different, and we want to kind of just talk with just our team to kind of figure out what are our updates, what's going on. We have a lot of work that we've been doing behind the scenes. We've been creating various safe houses across the nation. We've been very we've been dedicated to making sure that we can have county representatives that are in every single county across the U.S. So let's get into those updates. I mean, Rafael, I think you know a bit about what has been happening in Montana.
Well, as you know, one of the main goals of the Returning Youth Initiative is to be able to identify jobs opportunities for the post-incarcerated, for the young adults when they get out of jail. So obviously, you know how difficult it is sometimes to find I guess, employer or company that can provide the job opportunity to them. So if they cannot provide it, what we're doing now is creating the job opportunities, basically. So one of the job opportunity, it is around building or creating business companies or establishing businesses in those areas where we're having our footprints. In this case, as you know, we've been talking for many weeks about Hamilton, Montana, the wonderful work that the ladies are doing over there. And as you know, they created a safe haven there. And now the next step is to be able to create a jobs opportunity. And one of the job opportunity is around building what they did. They opened up a business that also we talk about it. We have a similar business in Pennsylvania. I'm gonna let Sharon to talk about the business, the kind of business opportunity. How's that, Sharon? I don't hear you. You are muted?
Yeah, I was muted. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Marvel Vision is getting ready to open. Their grand opening is going to be next week. And we've been very quickly trying to put everything together. So their website, actually, we just clicked the button to make it live about an hour ago. So it's Marvel Vision MT for Montana. So marvelvisionmt.com. I'm not sure if it's actually visible online quite yet, but we're getting there. And then we just finished up the also finished up the Google My Business panel. So that should be getting live later today. And then we're working on social media right now. So
that's exciting.
yeah. So, and I mean, they are like putting the flooring down right now. They've got the glasses, they've got all kinds of stuff coming into the building. It's really super exciting for them. And yeah, I just really look forward to having them have that up. And, they're looking to employ post-incarcerated individuals there, which is the goal behind what we're doing.
Marvel Vision MT. If you are a post-incarcerated individual and you are listening right now, that is a place where you can go to get employment. Also, there will be a coffee shop that's a part of Marvel Vision. Like it's inside of the same building. Is that right? Or is next door, or do we know how it's being set up?
Yeah, it's in the front of the building.
Okay.
So Marvel Vision's in the front, and then the Safe Haven Community Center is in the back.
And that's where the coffee shop is too?
The coffee shop is in the Marvel Vision, yes. So in Marvel Vision's website is information about the coffee shop. We'll be having a separate Google panel for the coffee shop piece as well. And in time, probably get to the point that the coffee shop has its own established website. But for right now, we're, we needed to get things up quickly, make sure we covered the basis of it and start getting ready.
What makes that coffee shop unique, Angelica, is the way it was named. In a way, it was very interesting when I saw the name. It's what is it, 1342, right? Is that right?
31, yeah, 3142 Bistro.
Yeah, 3142, which is the number of counties that are in the whole United States. Across the nation, we have 3,142 counties, and the goal of this initiative is to be able to have to establish a home of hope and a safe haven, and provide all of these opportunities to post-incarcerated people across the nation. So right. I guess they couldn't find it. That is a terrific, a great name, or a great way to start that business venture in, as the cafe, I guess.
Yeah.
In Amazon.
And the exciting thing about it is we have 2 other Marvel Visions that are coming up. So we're going to have one opening up in probably the next 2 months in Las Vegas. We've got another one that's going to probably open up in the next, hopefully 30 days or so in Delaware. So, again, just creating that and, giving that opportunity. The individual who's in Las Vegas is one of them. That too is, post-incarcerated. I think the thing, Raphael, we should highlight for those who didn't see the show last week with Susan on it is a lot of these first 2 women who are opening these centers in Montana and in Las Vegas came from a prison system in Oregon where they learned and got their education, got out of prison and got their license. And so I think it's really unique to see that. And I think that that's something that we have an opportunity as an organization, and especially with your background, to grow in that respect of figuring out what other prisons are out there that are doing things like that we can become a partner with and an advocate for those individuals and have a place for them to be employed when they come out.
That's actually really cool and really exciting, because it's not just about folks that are employers that are just trying to have a program for whatever tax reasons, but these are people who have been incarcerated, that are post-incarcerated, that have done something to really, really move their life forward in a really productive way. And they want to give other post-incarcerated individuals the opportunity to do the exact same thing, and give steps and guidelines to really follow, so that they have a guide to say, okay, this is what you can do so that you can get your life on track and be able to not only work and live and have a place to go, but to really have a piece, a place of like fulfillment and joy about your work, passion about your work even.
Also what I like about this program, that these post-incarcerated young people, they're not just getting a job. I mean, some of them, believe it or not, they're getting, I guess, a lifetime opportunity. I mean, many of them will end up becoming their own bosses by owning the business. There is no better opportunity than that. I mean, a lot of people in this country don't have that opportunity, and we are creating that opportunity for them. If they behave, if they follow the rules, if they become loyal employees and really listen and do the right thing, the next step for them is to really own their own business, and we'll be able to provide all of that in the future so they can really become their own boss. I mean, isn't that exciting?
It is. I think one of the other neat things with like the Montana facility and is the fact that, the community stepped up and they sold stock in the business to the community. So not only is, this individual getting this opportunity, but the community is, embracing it. And I think that's probably one of the neatest things about this whole eye care facility that we're opening.
Well, for our listeners, I mean, there are many ways that things can be done. We're just thinking out of the box. That's really what it is. Figure out a way how we can really, help and make it happen. I mean, we've been talking about the franchising business model. That's one way. But Montana, they kind of, I guess it's a very tight community that they say, well, you know what, we're going to step forward. And instead of, using a franchising business model, let us just let's find what is the cost of establishing the business. Let's find, what is it, 40,000, 50,000, whatever the amount is. Then if it is 50,000, let's find 1,000 people. 50 people that are willing to contribute or invest. Let's call it invest, because they're not donating the money. It's like an investment type of pool in which they put at least about 1,000. Some of them put a little more. But the reality is that gives them a sense of ownership. It's like they own and they are part of this business. And the goal is that they want to make sure that the business do well and be successful, because they are part owner in a way. So it's a sense of community involvement that in a way it makes this whole process unique. What do you think?
That's really, really exciting. I'm wondering if there's ever opportunities for individuals to also be there's a lot of various places of employment where employees could actually be co-owners. It could be like an employee co-op. And I wonder if there's something that we could actually build and establish that would work for within some of these franchises. Like if we took the bistro, 3142 bistro, and made that type of cafe into an employee co-op, could that actually lead to employment and ownership opportunities for those who are post-incarcerated?
That's a good Raphael question.
Yeah,
of course. There are a lot of different ways to do it. It depends on the community. Obviously, in order for anyone to establish a business, one thing is needed for sure is money. Without money, there is no way that can be established. The question is for where the money is going to come from. As you know, my background is franchising. I've been in the franchising industry for over 15 years, in business over 35 years actually. And the reality is that I know that a franchising business model, basically it works because it's a business model that we're not reinventing the wheel. It's been around. Everybody knows the franchise system somewhere, somehow, and people know that it works as long as people follow the system. So that's another way that we are trying to really provide business opportunity. Like I said, there are many ways to do it, and we want to go with what is safe, secure, and require low investment. Basically, pretty much. With a franchising business model, it just reduces the risks. We're not reinventing a wheel. Like in the case of Hamilton, Montana, they are not creating a business that they don't know. It's a business that we know that has been established, that has been operational, that is doing very well. All we do is copying that model that is in Pennsylvania, now it's going to be in Las Vegas and other places, and replicating that model in Hamilton, Montana. If we can do that and replicate those type of businesses, as a matter of fact, there is another business opportunity that we are establishing in Maryland. Can you talk about the one in Maryland?
Yes. So one of the other business models that we're working on is a med spa. And so, the they have the opportunity to expand. It's a great opportunity for an education career for individuals. So that's one of the other things that we're doing right now. We're working on expanding med spas, because there's a lot of people out there that do want the, those types of services. And so we put them in the right place and educate people correctly. It gives them a career. And, I think one of the things was interesting the other day, I was actually talking to an individual and they're post-incarcerated. And they told me when they came out of jail that they were making $8.25 an hour at McDonald's. And even though they had other job opportunities to go work other places, their parole officer was basically like, no, you just need to get a job. We don't care where you work. You just have to have a job. And then they don't like them to change jobs. So he was stuck for like 6 months in a job, paying him $8.25 an hour, living in his transition home. Well, then, his 6 months were up. And when his transition home time was over, he was still only making $8.25 an hour and had to go live in a halfway house, and just because he was not in a situation where there was anything else out there for him, or the system didn't allow him to, better himself during that time period. And so, that's kind of goes back to the fact of if there's these prisons that are training people, if we could create and establish things around that, so when people come out, we already have the jobs established. And the thing is there's a lot of areas that really need help. Next week, we're going to have Dorothy Lavelle on from Chicago. And one of the problems they have in her immediate area is there's not employment. And jokingly, but unjokingly, she made the comment, when we were in our meeting with her last week, she said the sad part about it is, now that they've legalized marijuana, even the drug dealers are without a job. And so she said, now everybody's without a job. And nobody wants to come in their area, Chicago, because it's just such a bad area, Chicago, and help establish employment. And she said it just becomes a trickle-down effect. So if we can catch those people and give them, grab them at that point and, have an opportunity to create something that when they come out, we're building something in an area that has the need for the employment and a need for, the service, it's a win-win.
I agree. Go ahead.
I think one of the things that is imperative within the returning youth program is that we have to figure out and pinpoint these areas, like the area that Dorothy is speaking about, or that Dorothy had spoke to you about, and figure out how we can make sure that we have a footprint in those areas to help those that are in need or that need our type of assistance, and like more so than just the safe havens, but with those safe havens, are there, because the safe havens are just areas for people to live and to develop social life skills, right? Social and life skills. But what can we do about are we all I don't know. I wonder if there is something else that we could do.
Well, the safe haven is actually our community centerpiece, and we really do strive to partner with individuals in the communities that have, the ability to help with the mental health aspect, because that's a big aspect of things. I mean, I know when we toured the Home of Hope that we have in Pennsylvania the one day, the young gentleman that was in there had his bed back in the corner and the dresser was up against the bed. You couldn't even see the bed. And I asked him, was he doing that to block the sun? And he said, no. He said, because in prison, you learn to protect yourself. And he said, I can't get past that. And, so it is a big thing. And so that's a big part of what we do in that respect. And we were very fortunate last Saturday to be able to rescue a young gentleman in Montana with the help of our Hamilton, Montana Safe Haven. And, hopefully at this point, he's going to be back on the road in the right direction, because if not, he was probably a day or two away from committing a crime that was going to put him back in prison because he just didn't know what else to do. And we have to stop that. We have to get more safe havens open. But through that process, in safe haven, they're going to take an evaluation so we can figure out where their needs are. I mean, like, where's their education level drop off? Even more than that, like, where's their likes? What are the things they're really talented in? And can we create something, or is there a job opportunity to be had there? Because, these individuals are coming out, and just the other day, if you go back to the post that we put up on our social media sites, you'll see a graph that talks about the education levels and, the individuals that are post-incarcerated, and depending on, ethnicity and age and all that type of stuff. It's really sad because we have all these people who come out of prison and they do not get that opportunity to have the buildup of their education, the support, and then the day-to-day outside interactions to continue to grow just their education, to grow their interaction with people, to grow their life skills. All those things have to be rebuilt. So we're working with actually an organization that's designing a software so that the individuals can come into our program, take a test, come out of that test, and provide us an enormous amount of information of where they lack in areas, so that we can get to the point that we're helping them develop the life skills that they missed. We're getting them the education, and we're helping to guide them to the point where they're getting a career that's based into the direction that, is something they have a real passion for, because you don't need a college degree to do a lot of things. I mean, in fact, just the other day, I was listening to an interview on Kevin Allen's show, and he had a gentleman that is all his company does is sets up all these big shows across Las Vegas. And he made the comment, he said, I will take somebody with passion, heart, and drive, and a little bit of intelligence over somebody with a college degree every single day. And a lot of these kids come out of, and they just want to turn their life around. And we'll have that opportunity with the software and different things that we're doing to give them a direction, and hopefully give them a career that's going to pay them a salary that they can have a fulfilled life, because $8.25 an hour isn't going to do it.
$8.25 an hour is that's a whole other discussion on how we're, when the wage gap is, you're getting paid this much over however many years it's been that federal minimum wage is staying where it's at, versus the cost of actual living and the cost of housing just continues to rise, literally 3%, 3 to 5% every single year. So, we have to figure out that whole disparity, because that's not just with post-incarcerated people. That's a problem that all Americans are having, which is why we're seeing such an enormous amount of homelessness, especially after COVID, or I don't want to say after COVID because we're still going through it, but after 12 and 18 months of being locked up in our homes, not incarcerated. It's not the same thing. But then to now try to not have that government assistance, right? We're now getting into a space where people are getting pushed out of their homes in rapid numbers. Now, imagine if you are a post-incarcerated individual and you're getting out of prison after however many years, and now you're reentering society, and it's this type of society, and the cost of living is too crazy for someone who has a regular job to afford, and can get a regular job anywhere. The fact is that it's horrible.
Yeah, I've been waiting for Raphael to pull numbers up for us all day.
Well, you know how it is. I was really looking for, specific numbers to also give some answers to Angelica. I remember when Angelica, they say, hey, I wonder what happened. During the pandemic in 2020. I mean, in terms of people incarcerated, are the numbers up? Are the numbers down? And there is the answer. Apparently, this is a report. I have to give credit to the Vera Institute of Justice. I mean, the headquarters is kind of in my backyard here in New York City. They're in Brooklyn. They do a lot of research. I mean, they have a great research team, and they do a lot of studies. So they kind of spend a lot of time looking at the numbers of people that were incarcerated in the middle or during the pandemic, specifically focusing on on 2020. The researcher collected data on the numbers of people, in local jails and the state and federal prison, both in the mid-years and the fall 2020. I provided time information on how incarceration is changing in the United States during the COVID-19 pandemic. Isn't that interesting? I mean, a lot of people know how the pandemic ran through the country like fire, right? Now, researchers, estimated that the national jail population, using example of 1558 jail jurisdictions and the national prison population based on a sample of 49 states. They look at 49 states and the Federal Bureau of Prison. They also look at whatever ICE and the immigration people were doing. But very interesting numbers, they claim that the post-incarcerated people dropped, believe it or not, in 2020 by 14%.
No. We know that they were releasing people. That wasn't the question, but they're releasing people and they're not helping them. And so now we have an enormous amount of homelessness. We have post-incarcerated individuals that literally have nowhere to live and nowhere to work. And yeah, the prison population went down. We knew that part, but what are they doing about the prison population that they've released? And the answer is absolutely nothing. Like, where are the safe havens for the folks that they released?
Yeah, I mean, just look at this number. They went from 2.1 million in 2019 to 1.8 million by late 2020. So we're talking about a lot of people that were released from jail. Yeah, you're right. That created, in a way, another problem, another issue. The question is what it's being done. And that's something that, we had to really look very closely and see where are all of these post-incarcerated people. I mean, if the system doesn't support them, doesn't provide them what they need in terms of job opportunity, training, support, then what's going to happen is that they will do something crazy and go back in jail. I mean, it's sad to say, but those are the facts, right? We're seeing what's happening in many cities.
Or they're dying and no one cares.
Yeah, they're dying. They're dying on the streets, or they're committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also an enormous problem. Like we need to, like, yes, people are being released, but without the safe havens, people will die either by suicide or by some type of murder or by disease or by illness, whatever the case is. And where would they live? Where are they living? Why has crime has gone up? We know why crime has gone up. Like we can't expect one problem to be fixed without fixing the root of an issue. And they're not fixing the root of an issue. And they're just creating additional issues and additional problems. And it's like, we're one organization and we're trying to get to multiple counties. How can we work in partnership with the jail systems that are releasing people without any kind of regard?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing too. I mean, we really need to be expanding our safe haven facilities. And that takes volunteers right now. And so, I mean, it takes somebody who has a passion, and maybe even, we have a lot of organizations that we collaborate with that already have something going on. They're already doing something, and for us, it's just like they already have a facility, they're already doing stuff, but now they can add what we're doing to what they're doing. And it may be that what they're doing, we can add to ours and expand across the United States. I mean, we've got individuals that are out there that have programs that we're talking to and have been, have already signed agreements with, that have educational programs that help them to understand all the things that they may go through in the process of transitioning. Because it isn't just about sticking them in a home that they have for 6 months and getting them a job. I mean, they still feel in prison at that point in time. It's building that period to get past the mental health problems or start working on that aspect of it, start figuring out what we can do on their educational level, start figuring out, I mean, it's amazing that when people come out, they get somebody who's going to take care, to look out for them, but they have so many people they're looking out for. Are they really looking out for them? So, I mean, we're looking at even just within our own organization, having our own, case managers. So, when they come in, they get a case manager, they get a mental health specialist, they get all their doctor visits. Like, do they need glasses? Do they need teeth fixed? Do they have their mental thing? And a lot of that can be paid for by the state because they're making so little money, but it's a process of understanding that all these things are available to them and helping to make sure they're getting the things filled out. Do you know that there's a program out there that the minute that you come out of prison, because you are considered to not have any income, you can get a cell phone. So at least at that point in time, you have a phone in your hand. So when you go out to look for a job, you have a phone and you're not paying for it. It's a federal program that allows you to have that phone. It only gives you so many minutes, and only gives you so much of this, but it's something. It is a part of a touch to the outside world they haven't experienced in years. But it allows them to now start reconnecting, maybe with their family, but to have that opportunity to just feel like they have that connection that they've been missing. So there's just so many things out there that people don't realize. And right now in our society, it's like you have this one organization that does this and another organization that does this, and maybe one that does 2 or 3 things. No one has that full holistic program that we're trying to put together, that we're trying to, and it may be that we can't house everybody, but to have these community centers and be able to quickly pop them up, it gives them a place to go and they feel accepted. And that's a big thing, because in this society, when you get out of jail, acceptance is the one thing you don't know. You may have paid your time, but unless you're moving out of your area into somewhere new that people don't know you, there's a really big chance you're going to be labeled.
Many people have the affordability to move to a new location.
Yep.
Right? Especially when you're post-incarcerated. That's the whole thing, is that you don't have the financial ability to just relocate to a whole brand new area, folks.
Right.
And it's like if you're in an area and that's the area that you were locked up in and incarcerated in because of whatever environmental circumstance, now you're put back, you get released several years later and you're back in the same area.
Yeah, and that's a big, huge problem. I mean, I have a girlfriend of mine that her daughter was arrested for drugs 3 times. And every time she came back, within the first 6 months, she was back running around with the same people. So the 3rd time she got released from prison, they moved her to North Carolina with other family because they're like, we got to break the cycle. We can't keep you here. We have to break the cycle. And now she's married. She's got a child that I believe might be in kindergarten already. And, her whole life has been turned around. I don't know if she stayed in our area, if that would have happened for her. So you're absolutely right.
Probably not. She probably would have been arrested for a 4th time.
Yeah. Our one young gentleman that is in Pennsylvania, he got a CDL license, and he's reached out to Ryan Fagan and I and said, I'm going to be off probation here in a few months, and I would really like to move to the Midwest. I need to get away from where I'm at, so I'm not continuing to be labeled, and it doesn't affect me finding employment and all this type of stuff. And he said, I just need a fresh start. And so I've been talking to one of my companies that is expanding right now. I'm going to be hiring more drivers this fall. And, they've already said that they were more than happy to have a conversation with him about potentially looking at hiring him and bringing him here so he could restart his life. So there's just so many things. I think sometimes, it's almost overwhelming when you hear story after story every day, like we hear. But, and then, I was actually just on TV or on radio, Kevin Allen, right before we got on the show here. And he said, Sharon, because you're a positive person, give me something positive to leave people with, And I think that's really super important part too, because sometimes it's so easy to dwell on, the negative piece. So, I would encourage people, like, buy a dollar journal at the Dollar Tree, and at the end of every day, write 5 things down that you loved about your day. I mean, it could be the sun was out, or it could be that it rained and we haven't had rain in a long time. It could be just that you woke up. And then one thing about your life you're proud of, even if the same thing gets wrote every single day, because then you go to bed every night on a positive mindset.
That's actually a really great tool to use. Ooh, we got more numbers. Give it to us.
That's right. We got more numbers. I found some data, monitoring the data for 2020. Basically, this is a report with the jail population in February of 2020, May, November, and the latest now, up to date. So the trend that I see across different counties, like you're looking at Cook County, Cook, Illinois County. As you can see in February, they had like 5,500. It went down by May, went down to 4,000. Then by November of 2020, it started to go up back to 5,300. Now it's almost 6,000. So if you look across the line, this is New York City Department of Corrections. In New York City, in February, 5,400 went down to 3,800, and then it started to go up by November. And it looks like people that were released now are either going back to jail, or I don't know why that is a trend across the board. I mean, most of the county, the numbers went down, I guess, in the middle of last summer when the pandemic was really, hitting every city, every state across the nation. Now I see the trend now is that people are going back to jail. That's what I see, ladies. Interesting.
I think looking at those, and we just kind of glanced over maybe about 10 different cities, and the one thing that was trending and that I saw, I was like, May of 2020, we really have to think about what was happening in May of 2020. The world was shut down. Was it March 16th of 2020? And they kept saying, oh, it'll be probably about a month or maybe 2 months, And at the prison system, so many individuals were getting COVID, and it was running rampant through nursing homes and through prison and through jail systems. And so because of that, that was one of the reasons why a lot of prisoners were released, right? So that people who were there for nonviolent offenses, which they shouldn't have been locked up in the first place, but that's another story. People who were there for nonviolent offenses, they were able to be released. But now, folks are, the recidivism rate has increased. We clearly saw with 3 different cities where the latest available information was higher than it was prior to. Here's a perfect example. Here's a perfect example of where the recidivism rate is higher than it was in February of 2020.
Yeah, that's Prince George County. That's in Maryland.
Prince George's.
Yeah.
I love PG County, but not because of that. It's just a really beautiful place. I mean, right. It's really horrific to see that the numbers are so bad now. In what month are we in? We're in August of 2021, and we don't know if these numbers are from August. These numbers could be from May of 2021. So in literally just a year of time, we've got, this drop. In just 12 months, you've got a drop, and then you've got a resurgence of just all the folks that were incarcerated before. They're either back there and then some is what
new ones, people that couldn't take the pandemic anymore. I've been in quarantine for so long that, it's crazy seeing what's happening here in New York City. It's
people are desperate. People are literally being put out of their homes. They can't afford to live. They can't afford to eat. And so what do you do when you're desperate? You do whatever you can. And if you get arrested for stealing a bag of chips, you're still arrested. You're still incarcerated.
I totally agree. Well, I can tell you, I've been having a conversation locally here in New York City with a local congressman. And it looks like he's going to come on board to support the initiative. I'm not going to say who until it is official, but he's trying to get committed to open up 3 Home of Hope and Safe Haven in three African American Latinx populated part of the city. I'm not gonna say where, because if I say where, people will know who is this congressman. But I see that he identified with the initiative, with the returning Dr. Khanna's returning youth initiative for sure, and he see that there is not enough work being done to help post-incarcerated young adults, and he wants to jump into the bandwagon. He feels like Dr. Khanna's returning youth initiative is something that needs to get supported, and he's willing to commit time, efforts to figure out what we can really, how he can help and facilitate getting, either helping us find facility, meaning houses or property that we can house post-incarcerated people. And he really loves that whole business model that we are building to provide jobs opportunity and help them to become their own bosses. So I hope that others elected officials will join, because this is, it cannot just be one. I mean, this is, we're gonna need a lot of people, support from a lot of people, but he wants to take the lead, at least in New York City, because there is a lot that needs to get done in New York City. It's a huge city. I mean, he's even surprised that we don't have much really going here in the city, but he wants to make it happen. I'm very happy and excited about that.
Yeah.
And that is what we need. We do need more legislators. We do need more congressmen, congresswomen, women that are at least listening to the show. If you are listening, if you are a local councilman, a community leader, if you have not checked out returningyouth.com, please visit our website at returningyouth.com. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram. Please find us. We are on YouTube. See the shows that we've been talking about for the last several months, and seeing what we're doing across the nation and across various states. We are in more than 16 states now?
I'd have to go look at the list.
Okay, but we are across the nation, and we are building, and we need legislators' help. We need local community members' help, so that we can get the word out and we can get facilities allocated, dedicated to be safe havens, so that we can actually create a systematic building block to kind of rebuild this whole little system that is not working.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, it doesn't take us much to open up a safe haven facility. It takes somebody to stand up and raise their hand and say, I want to be involved. And then it takes money. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, every nonprofit is out there trying to raise money. And, to do what we do takes money as well. So, we have, now have a corporate sponsorship package open for individuals who want to be a corporate sponsor. You can be a corporate sponsor in just the state that you're located in, or you can be a national corporate sponsor. And then, we are taking, we're taking donations, honestly. And like, we ask people, go share our information on your Facebook page, and, share it in Messenger. Go find one of the posts that has the information in there about how to donate. All we're asking is to give whatever you can. It could be $1. $1 makes an impact. And, we're out there right now really trying to get 1 million people involved in what we're doing, because there's power in numbers.
And every single one of us knows someone who has been incarcerated or is post-incarcerated. Every single one of us.
Sharon, we still have the campaign about any post-incarcerated person that wants to share their story. Do we still have? When you
go out to returningyouth.com, there's actually a pop-up screen. And when the pop-up screen comes up, you put in your name and your email address, and you can choose to get updates from us that, big things that are going on. You can get our monthly newsletter that we send out on a national level, nationally. And then also you can click to find information about volunteering. And then the last thing is share your story. So we really do want people to come in and share their story. Sharing your story, number one, it helps us to see the hurdles that you've gone through, and is a learning experience for us. And also allows us to potentially, see applaud you for your accomplishments. help you with your struggles. But more than anything, just sharing your story, a lot of times it's just therapeutical for people to talk about what they went through.
Definitely. And it's also it's not just therapeutic, it's also inspiration for others.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
those who are post-incarcerated or not.
Right. And, I think that's the other thing we should mention with our safe haven is it's not just for post-incarcerated individuals. I mean, that is the primary target. But if you are out there struggling, we want to be here to help you. And the biggest reason that this is that we've kind of gone that direction with it is in the foster care system, the day you turn 18, you're lost for a lot of these kids. And, so we need to be out there helping those individuals too. And I hate to say it this way, but they're kind of like the future incarcerated if we don't do the right thing for them. So even though our main focus is that post-incarcerated 18 to 26-year-old, I mean, we're finding that some of the individuals that are struggling out there right now are those 18 and 19-year-old kids who've spent their whole life in foster care and they come out and they're lost. They turn 18 and they're just like, there's the door. What do they do? So.
And that's why the mental health component of Dr. Khanna's Returning Youth program and Returning Youth Initiative is so important. It is that key factor that really helps to get folks on the path to living a productive lifestyle, to being able to do things for themselves and have the life skills that they can do simple tasks like go to the grocery store and drive a car and wash dishes and wash laundry, all of those basic things that we all need to know and learn how to do to be a functioning adult within this society. Those are pieces that you get within Dr. Khanna's Returning Youth program. Being able to sleep without fear, being able to sleep without fear, that is a key part of the mental health aspect. And we've already talked about how, we've seen individuals, and that was part of our Susan, our guest from last week. And she was saying how she had so much trouble sleeping. It was scary for her to even go to the grocery store because there were so many people around, and to be able to just function, in society is a really important key piece. And so we really want to encourage folks, if you don't see any other reason to donate for the simple fact that we have mental health services that are here that will help all of society. Because all of us are a part of this entire ecosystem, or all of us are a part of this entire society, post-incarcerated or not. And so please visit the returningyouth.com website, click on that donate button and donate today. Raphael, Sharon, do we have do we have any updates that we've missed that are outside of what we've already talked about?
Yeah, so we've had quite a few things that have gone on this week and last week. So I think last week we talked a little about the fact that we'd been in Chicago and in Gary, Indiana. And, this week I know that Dr. Khanna has been, out doing more work to continue to expand the Delaware, Baltimore, Maryland area. Obviously, Raphael's been working in his area. And I know that, one of the things is we've been talking for a long time about going on the road and having road shows. Well, guess what? We're about ready to hit the road with our road shows. So in 2 weeks, so I guess a week and a half, we're going to start, we're going to hit about, I think 10 or 11 states that we're working with, the local authorities or, congressmen, mayors, whatever. And we just want to go into a community and we want to have a town hall and talk about what we're doing and get people to sign up and get them involved. And a lot of that will be in areas we're already in, and we're trying to really get a strong presence there. because, having a strong presence in one area allows us to have a model and, more defined. We understand that, like, what we do, and Raphael could definitely agree to this, and so can you, what we would do in New York compared to what we're doing in Hamilton, Montana, though the programs are a lot alike in how we handle them, everyone is a little bit unique to its own, society and environment and area. So, the biggest thing is to have multiple ones open across the country. So when we have a community and it says, okay, your community is like this community, they now have somebody to go to help them to create that, what they're going to do in their community to make sure that, they have some stepping stones for success for the individuals that come into those safe haven facilities.
Excellent.
No, definitely we're building a lot of momentum, and this is what it takes. I mean, I have to give a lot of credit to Dr. Khanna because he's like a globe trotter. He's like I've seen that commercial, the Bob Bunny, the
Energizer Bunny.
Exactly, running all over the country, coast to coast. I mean, connecting with people, connecting, networking, meeting, a contributor, people that wants to be part of this initiative, and really, that's what it takes. So I have to give him a lot of credit, and really congratulations, Dr. Khanna, for really taking the torch and really all over the country and keep pushing it. I mean, without resources, because that's the reality. We have no money. Without resources, really doing whatever we have to do to be able to push this. So I'm very happy and excited. But this is, work in progress. And every week I see more the light at the end of the tunnel. We keep pushing it. More people are joining. We're opening more Home of Hope, more safe haven, and that's what it really gonna takes to build this and actually to get to all of this. Let me show you these ladies that I've been playing with. I mean, for the first time, I see the 3,142 counties. That's all the counties in the whole United States that hopefully one day we'll be able to have a Home of Hope and a safe haven. Those are all the counties in the United States with data about about incarcerated people all over.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting? And then it has it by year. This is based in 2018. And if I go down, you go all the way down to 1970. Look how the whole country population, jail population or incarcerated. This is the pretrial jail incarcerated rates per 100,000 residents,
Wow.
age 64, from 1970 to 2018. I think we're running out of time, right?
Yes, we're down to our final 5 minutes of the show today.
Yeah, we've got about 5 minutes left. And so we can actually spend a little bit of time looking at that. That was a really interesting map. What website was that on, Raphael?
It's from an organization called Vera. I'm very impressed with the kind of work that they've been doing. And they have an awesome website, and they have a team of researchers that look at data, and the way they put it together. It's like easy to learn, easy to see. Like you can see this map. They have this map by county, and they also have it by state. If I look at the state map, the same thing from 2018. If I go back, look how it keeps changing. Red, it means high. Purple is middle, and blue is low. And gray is like no data. So you can see the transition across the country as you really go by, So this is data provided by Vera.org. It's a non-for-profit organization also that do post-incarcerated work. They're nationwide, but they have an office here in Brooklyn, New York. Very interesting stuff.
So Marble Vision's website's up. Would y'all like to see it?
I would love to. That's awesome.
Marble Vision.
Isn't it Marble Vision MD?
Yeah, I think I have.
MT, yeah, Montana.
MT.
So,
MT.
yeah.
Marble
So
Vision.
this is it. So,
fantastic.
Is it the one? Yeah, this is the one, right?
This is the one. Yeah. There's our 3142 bistro.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah. So then all kinds of information on products, services, and are out there, and how to reach them to get your appointment, your 406-961-9611 number. So yeah, so excited very much so for the Montana team, and for Susan, and the hard work she's put in, and to get her degree when she was in prison, and to come out and have the ability to see a dream.
Yes, I want to reiterate what you just said, Sharon, because Susan
It is.
was
3142
absolutely.
Eastern.
Yes, Susan was incarcerated when she started taking her classes and getting her certification to be an optometrist, so that she could run this vision center, which is really extraordinary. And as soon as she was out, she was able to, and she's only been post-incarcerated for I think 6 years now, but she was then able to get her license to then move forward to start this business. And what an inspiration she is. That is so cool that she's able to have this vision center along with the bistro, 3142 bistro, to have that coffee shop as well, and provide employment for those who are post-incarcerated individuals. It's very exciting.
It is.
Yeah, so congratulations to them.
Yes, go Montana team. Woo! And it'll be opening in next week. Is it next week?
I think they're doing a soft opening next week, but the following week, I believe it's the 12th, they have their main opening.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Well, again, everyone, thank you so much for first of all, our full team, our returning youth team. Thank you, Raphael. Thank you, Sharon, for both being here and for spending the hour, together, so that we can kind of learn about what Dr. Khanna's program is doing, the returning youth program is doing. And for those of you who are listening, please tune in every single Friday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. And you can tune into WPAT 9:30 a.m. That's on the radio in New York. Or, of course, you can join in from Facebook at facebook.com/returning youth, or, of course, YouTube, and just search Returning Youth. Please also visit returningyouth.com and donate if you are able. And if you are just interested in being a county manager, you want to know what's going on in your own city, if you want to be a community member and leader, there are programs for you to volunteer your time, your services, your gifts, your talents. But please visit returningyouth.com, navigate through that site, and you will and donate and see how you can join our team. We thank you. And everyone, I'll see you next week. I'll see you next Friday.
All right.
I'm Angelica. See you next week.
We are done.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.